stuff. Turn this around. And you can see how it went up the center. So obviously it doesn't go over the side of this major key. If it did, then this wouldn't pull off. Alright. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get this ready for side 2, aka lather, rinse, repeat. And the magic for that is Reynolds wrap. All we're going to do, take some Reynolds wrap here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that a different way this time. This is the first time I've done this, so I don't know if it'll work, but I think I'm just going to take some of this packing tape and seal it off this way. Now this may work, it may not work. Nope, doesn't want to stick. Alright, so Reynolds wrap it is. So you just tear off some Reynolds wrap, cover up this side. Now this technique here works for the plaster. It also works for fiberglassing. All we're doing is creating a clean separation line. We're protecting our, we'll call this side A here, so that it doesn't bond to side B that we're about to create. If we left this open, there is a possibility, however slight with the plaster, that it will bond, making it hard for you to separate sides A and B. And if you were doing this with fiberglass, it would make it impossible for you to separate side A and B. So, Reynolds wrap is our friend. Bet you guys thought it was going to be a lot harder to make a mother mold. Well, if you did think that, then obviously you don't know any of us very well. Because if it was hard, none of us would be able to do it. Because let's face it, I'm no professional. This is about as homemade and as rigged as it comes. And I say that fully meaning that I didn't even measure out how much foil I have, and I barely had enough to cover my entire model here. So I don't know if you're noticing that I'm pushing this as far as I can into the seams. That way our plaster bandages will cover as much of this as possible. Alright. Now what we're going to do, same thing we did with side A. We get some plaster bandages. We're going to plaster bandage up this entire area.
Guess who I just got a call from?
And then we're going to rondo this entire area. And then we're going to bondo this area right here. And when I'm done all that, I'll go ahead and come back and give you a peek. And I'll show you where and why to drill your holes. Alright guys, side 2 plaster part is done. Now I'm sure you're looking at that and you're thinking, man, it looks a little bit thicker than the other side. And you're right. I forgot to say that earlier on. On side 2, you want to make it a lot thicker because this side should be the side that you always pull off your mold first. Now the reason why this is so much thicker up here is because this is obviously where we're going to grab from. So your side 2 should always, no matter what medium you're using, it should always be thicker than side 1. Now, Again, the reason why is because we're going to be pulling on this one the most. It has to be the sturdiest. And in addition to it, if you do anything like I do and you pour them one at a time, you're going to pour side A first, then side B, because this side's going to be heavier, so when you put your mold down, it's always going to sit on one side. It'll always sit on the heavier side. Anyway, let me go ahead and throw these vids up. I'm going to wait about 15 minutes, then cover this side with Rondo. Then another 15 minutes, put my Bondo strip in. Then I'll show you where to drill your holes. Alright, lather, rinse, repeat, stage 1 complete. We have now rondoed this entire side. We'll go back in a minute and throw some Bondo up right across here. And just some right across the lip down here, just to make sure those areas don't break while we're pulling this mold off. So I'll see you in about 15 more minutes where we do our Bondo. Alright guys, we've got our areas Bondoed now. For that just extra bit of reinforcement, you can see right here where the Bondo started to cure, but I kind of just drug it across anyway. So I did Bondo this area, Bondoed this area underneath. We got about 15 minutes till it cures. I still got powder on my hands from the gloves. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is if you have any of your plaster bandages left, make sure to put them in a Ziploc bag. Any humidity at all will bond with this plaster and make it cure, and you will lose the ability to reuse that plaster bandage. Alright, so we got about 15 minutes, then we're going to drill our holes. And then we're going to take this puppy off.